My way here this morning because there's no Ubers and it's snowing. It's about a 17-minute walk from my hotel over here, and I'm FaceTiming my mom. Shout out to mom, and I just get wrecked by a car driving by in a puddle. And so luckily I had one of my little puffy coats on, kind of protected the nifty hoodie. But funny little story. So my name's Ty. I'm otherwise known as Titan Inc. on Twitter. I tweet a lot, so if you guys follow me on Twitter, good chances you're going to get wrecked by my notifications. But essentially, I'm actually one of the co-founders and director of BizDev at NFT Labs, and we'll be talking about where utility NFTs are going next. But before I do that, quick questions. Who in this room owns at least one NFT? Let's see a raise of hands. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, there's actually not that many NFT talks here. So I'm actually surprised that more of you guys own NFTs. But you probably own NFTs, but you're probably wondering, what can NFTs do? Well, that's the purpose of this conversation. So, almost caught it. So, Titan Inc. My background, I've actually been in the industry since 2017. So I've had a chance to meet a lot of really cool people. I've traveled across Asia. I spent 9 months in Asia, actually. Meeting a lot of really cool crypto people, built a pretty solid network out there, and actually happened to meet my co-founder and CEO, Digital Lawrence, who actually had one of the very first interviews with CZ from Binance. So a little background about us. But let's just talk about NFTs, right? That's why we're all here. So to start, a lot of people may not know this, but CryptoPunks, they're very popular now. Very scarce assets, very valuable assets, but they actually started in 2017. And one of the things that really gives CryptoPunks a lot of their value is actually the time that they have spent on the blockchain itself. And of course, the blockchain is based on time, so this makes a lot of sense. And they really were the first, cyberpunk or CryptoPunk rather, pixelated NFTs. That's where a lot of the trends come from. For these type of styles of NFTs, and they're considered the first blue chip NFT project. And they really started the idea behind pseudonymous identity. Being able to use your NFT, as your social identity, being able to represent an asset, a digital asset, as a form of a digital flex, if you will. And so after that, shortly after. A lot of you may know about CryptoKitties. They helped to crash Ethereum in 2017. Ridiculous gas fees ensued after people started using CryptoKitties a lot as part of the CryptoKitties game. Of course, people also use them as collectibles. So, but they're most famous and popular for actually literally kind of crashing Ethereum. The gas fees spiked, transaction volume spiked, and so it was very difficult to use Ethereum at that time when CryptoKitties was very popular. And so another very popular company, Axie Infinity. I actually know Jeff Gihos personally. We met in the Philippines in 2019 as part of some of the people that I was able to meet. Axie Infinity was really the first to bring out play to earn. I know all of you know that. Blockchain gaming is getting very popular, and they were really the first to kind of put NFTs as in-game characters and assets, and then also build an actual token economy around that for the game. So obviously they were awesome. They built throughout 2018, 2019 in the bear market, and even 2020 when NFTs finally started to trend upwards. And then you all know Bored Ape Yacht Club, one of the most iconic Web3 brands. Since NFTs have gotten popular. Really, I think the cultural aspect of Bored Ape Yacht Club is the main factor to their success. But they've also been very, innovative in the way that they have approached, how to use NFTs and how to, kind of make it more of a cultural type of brand. And so these are just some metrics on NFT, sales, average price of an NFT, active market wallets that are using NFTs or have NFTs, and so forth. But really the most important metric that you should know is that in 2020, I believe, the market cap for NFTs was just over 315 million or so. and now the market cap is sitting at just about 22 billion. That is a year-over-year growth of 2,400 plus percent, which is absolutely insane. But it just speaks to the volume of what NFTs are doing right now. That's just on like what I call phase one, really the speculative side. But where NFTs are going, of course, is more of a use case scenario, more practical use cases, if you will. So why are NFTs booming? Well, lots of celebrities, large brands. For example, New York Stock Exchange just 2 days ago released news that they're going to be launching their own NFT marketplace. They skipped right over DeFi, went straight to NFTs. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut Canada, Charmin, Pepsi, Adidas, Nike. I mean, the list goes on. All of these brands are getting into NFTs, and it could be because, on one side, the regulatory framework around NFTs is a little bit more friendly for brands, and then also it's a little bit more appealing, for their brand audience in terms of like kind of being a part of the culture. It may be a little bit harder for them to appeal to like the DeFi crowd because traditional finance is hard enough, let alone like decentralized finance. It's a lot easier to relate to JPEGs, if you will, rather than maybe lending and borrowing on DeFi, which I still don't understand, and I've been in the industry for years. But obviously, we also have athletes, celebrities. They're also picking up their own NFTs, using those NFTs as their own pseudonymous identity, even though we know who they are. It's still a really cool way to just do like a little digital flex. There's a reason why you buy Rolexes. There's a reason why you buy Louis Vuitton. And all these big brands, and you want to wear them and you want to show them off to people in person. Well, in an era where, like COVID, for example, you can't go out and meet people, there needs to be some form of like digital asset or internet native flex to be able to, show people and whatnot. And then obviously, it really helps if you can resell, and gain some value in the process. So the current use cases for NFTs right now that are being explored, obviously we just talked about digital identity, pseudonymous identity, where you don't have to tell anybody who you are necessarily, but you can just be represented by your NFT itself. And of course you can represent your net worth in some ways through that NFT as well, which is also great when you're trying to join like certain clubs and get attention and whatnot. A lot of different celebrities or athletes or even just new businesses that are trying to get more of attention, they'll use this approach to be able to do just that, get more attention. Another one, obviously gaming, play to earn. That's a big one. There's networks that are literally dedicating entire arms to blockchain gaming to get more in the way of play to earn games on their own networks. And so this is, a use case that's been vastly explored, initially by Axie Infinity, of course. They're really the most successful to do this. Music, there's a few players that are exploring music NFTs. In fact, I think just today Snoop Dogg released that he's going to be doing a music label, dedicated to like music NFTs. So that's cool. Metaverse and virtual land, Decentraland is a good example of being able to purchase virtual land. In the metaverse, you can actually buy parcels of land and resell them if you want to, or you can hold on to those pieces of land and you can host your concerts or whatever in your own venues. And if you wanted to, you could have tenants in your own little virtual apartments, and you can kick them out if you want if they don't pay rent, virtually, of course. So a lot of really cool things are going on in the metaverse. Social gating is another thing. Basically being able to use NFTs to gain access to like social communities, like private discords, private telegrams. Some of these things could be expanded upon, like maybe even if you're familiar with GatherTown, it's a pretty popular virtual office application where if you could use an NFT to join a virtual office. So social gating is pretty popular. And then event gating. A lot of you are probably expecting to be able to use your NFTs to get into, in-person events. And that's something that we've actually built ourselves at NFT Labs, being able to do just that. Use your NFT as a ticket per se and gain access to physical events. And so what is next for NFTs? There's a lot of things that are being explored. Actually, Samsung, one of the Samsung universities is now exploring, I just saw this news today, using NFTs as diplomas when you graduate the university. There was some other stuff being said about using NFTs as resumes. And then, of course, some of the things on the presentation here, like soul-bound NFTs, which we got termed from Chris Cantino on Twitter. You should check him out. Soul-bound NFTs are basically non-transferable NFTs. I like to think about these in a way of like user access control. So if you're, let's say you have a very big company and you want to be able to maybe monitor all the employees in your company and give them certain access rights, and you can actually do that by giving them non-transferable NFTs. And essentially, non-transferable NFT would mean that you can't transfer out of your wallet. That would be bad if you did have an employee that uses an NFT for access and they transfer it to their buddy or their hacker friend, and bad things happen. So that's one thing that's being explored: user access control, borrowing platforms, being able to use an NFT against, essentially as collateral to borrow money. This is going to become more popular as more institutions come in, because as more money comes in to support the collateral for these NFTs, and obviously as these NFTs continue to get bigger and bigger and become more scarce and more risk averse, the institutions will definitely supply the liquidity needed to be able to back those NFTs. Loyalty exchanges. This is probably going to be very popular with a lot of the big brands, because if you think about it, like for example, all the airlines. I fly all the time, but I don't actually like check in with all my loyalty rewards points because I have to make an account for each of these companies, and I really don't feel like attaching my accounts to all of my flights when I'm just kind of wheeling and dealing and whatnot. So you'll probably see exchanges or marketplaces dedicated to like loyalty rewards points from brands that are trying to just kind of attach their existing loyalty rewards ecosystems that they have through their points, or maybe just, who knows, maybe explore social tokens. I kind of doubt that they'll explore social tokens though, because of the legal framework around them. So they may try to just take NFTs and just reward users for owning those NFTs through their existing loyalty rewards ecosystems. It just makes it a lot easier for them as well, because these brands dedicate a lot of money just to being able to kind of support those loyalty rewards points systems. So it makes the most sense for them to maybe keep that. Fractionalization, being able to use an NFT to actually kind of like exactly what it sounds like, fractionalize the NFT for fractional ownership. So let's just say that you don't want to spend $200,000 on a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, but maybe you want to own a part of it. Well, through fractionalization, you'd be able to do that. You would essentially own a part of that NFT if the owner is willing to fractionalize the ownership of it. There are applications out there right now that allow you to do that. I think it's called fractional.art, if I have the domain correct. It allows you to put your NFT on the application, and then you can use social tokens to kind of get a piece of the ownership of that NFT. Collateralization, we just kind of talked about that on the borrowing platform side, just being able to use NFTs against some form of collateral. Multiplayer and leaderboards is similar to bounties and quests. You can just imagine going through games. I think Activision will explore this. Blizzard Entertainment will explore this, where essentially you can go through games, you can get achievements, and no longer are they just like these Xbox achievements that you get that you might tell your friends about but nobody cares about. Maybe in the future you'll be able to actually get NFTs as achievements, which will actually serve some form of value. And then beyond that, you could probably use those NFTs for some form of access or promotions, discounts, and things like that. So it just makes more sense for the user playing the game. And then obviously you'd be able to take those NFTs and maybe port them over to the new games that are coming out, instead of just having achievements that stay in your Xbox and don't go anywhere. NFT indexes, being able to kind of gather up, a couple different NFTs from different projects. For example, maybe you have a Gutter Cat NFT, a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and a CryptoPunk, and if they're in one index, and you can essentially purchase ownership in all three of those NFTs, in the index itself, and capture upside as they trend upwards. Retail. This is going to be much more popular, especially as the big brands are coming in. Imagine buying a Louis Vuitton purse, for example, and having it tied to some form of wallet, or just having maybe what's called a PO app, where you can just sign in with your wallet and receive an NFT after you've actually purchased like a Louis Vuitton purse. So you have you got the purchase, you get an email. It says, hey, because you purchased this, we're going to give you an NFT that's kind of like a digital representation of your physical asset. And we do see these brand, items, apparel, and things like that as assets, especially if they're a little bit more expensive. And I think that's most of these that I'll touch on, because there's quite a few things we could go into, but that is that for that. And then this is what we're working on currently at NFT Labs. So we're building a product called Social Pass. We happen to talk to quite a few big brands around the industry, both on the outside and coming in to the industry for NFTs. So what we're doing is we're actually building a white label out-of-the-box solution for those big brands to be able to just come into the industry, have a supportive, continuous engagement, so that they're not having cash grabs, as people will call them, and they can actually have their users be able to use these NFTs for actual utility, instead of just looking at the artwork. It is really cool, but I think instead of looking at your artwork each day, you might be able to want to use your NFT for something more. So some of the things that we'll be offering in our new product will be minting. So whenever you're trying to mint a new NFT from a brand that's launching, you'd be able to go to a portal, have all the brands white labeled, branding, of course, their own domain, and have an effective minting dApp that they could use, or users could use. Gatekeeping, which would of course be like ticket gating, so being able to use your NFT from that brand to get into any sort of physical events and things like that. And then also, of course, social gating, being able to get into like community groups. So that's a quick rundown on Social Pass. We're coming out with that pretty soon. You guys are getting like the first look. No one else has seen this before, so congrats. And if you guys want to follow us at NFT Labs, you can scan the QR code and follow us on our journey as we explore the world of NFT utility. And if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ty.
Thank you.
If you have questions, we can take them out in the hallway. We just